We are back with round 2 of Modern. This time we've got Dan Pietrangelo, aka Dan the Man, on the left here. He's going to be on Junk. He has been on stream at least once or twice. Viewers at home may be familiar with him. And then on the right we have Jesse Ostap, the hometown champ. Of course, everyone here being a local, but Jesse having some especially good tournament results at Grand Prix and open tournaments in nearby cities. And so Jesse, certainly one of our most competitive players, or most achieving competitive players. So Jesse is going to be on Mono Green Devotion. This is a deck, you might have seen it. It's compared to Hansa in some ways, but it is fairly different. He just wants to be casting Arbor Elves. He wants to put Utopia Sprawls on his forests. He wants Garrix, and he just wants to untap his lands, make a lot of mana, and be casting Genesis Waves and Primal Commands. And he just wants to get a lot of big, dumb, green things out there. It's great. So here we've got Dan casting a Thoughtseize off of Blooming Marsh. Looking at Jesse's hand, looks like Jesse kept a land light hand. Lucky for Jesse that Dan didn't have a removal for the Arbor Elf. There we go. So Dan having the option to take out the Utopia Sprawl or one of several other things. I'm sorry, my image is cutting out a bit here. I'm not sure if this is reflecting on stream. Okay. Dan, taking some time with this decision. Jesse's deck can be very explosive, and so it is very important to choose the right card. Looks like Dan's thinking about taking Nisa. He's scared of Jesse getting a lot of late game value once he does get his mana, and Jesse does just mostly have mana producers in his hand. Nothing too scary yet. So Dan just taking the potential win con out right now. Let Jesse get some mana. Jesse with a great top deck another forest. So he's going to be able to make potentially 4 mana this turn. You put the Utopia Sprawl on the forest you already have. You can tap for 2 mana, and then you can untap with the Arbor Elf to make 2 more, so you have 4 mana. Right now he's got 3 floating. He found something. He found a Nykthos with the Oath of Nisa. Oath of Nisa basically just being anticipate for Jesse. It looks like he's just going to cast a Burning Tree Emissary into a Birds of Paradise and ship it back. So Jesse's going to have a lot of mana available to him. He's going to be able to play that Nykthos and devote for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, plus the forest he already has. He's going to have access to 7 mana. Dan with a more usual start for Abzan with just 2 mana on turn 2 instead of 4. But certainly his deck has some very effective spells. Dan's going to have more good mid-range creatures, whereas Jesse's going to have to draw something really good off the top here in order to have a chance in this game. Alright, looks like Dan's finding an Overgrown Tomb. Not looking for white mana right now. Kind of makes sense. Maybe he wants to Abrupt Decay. Certainly Abrupt Decay in the Burning Tree would help him a lot. Or either of the Mana Dorks. Any one of them produces 2 mana with the Nykthos out. Actually, the Arbor Elf produces the most mana, so that would make the most sense to destroy. And in case you didn't catch me saying it earlier, anyone who follows the stream, we're going to be sending a coupon code in Twitch via private message for 10% off of your next purchase at top8gaming.com. Currently, our website is having issues. We're not going to be able to help you out right this instant. but it should be cleared out either in a few hours or a day. We're still trying to get some feedback from the service that uses that is in charge of our server. So hopefully it's back soon. And those of you who followed us, and if you follow now, you will be sent a coupon code. Enjoy some cards. Yeah, we've got a great selection here at Top 8 Gaming. Alright, so looks like Jesse didn't draw anything worth casting, just attacking with the Burning Tree Emissary. Notice that he's not playing the Nykthos. Dan is only playing Thoughtseize, Inquisitions, maybe Collective Brutalities. He can't get the Nykthos out of Jesse's hand, but what Dan might also be playing is Ghost Quarters. And if Jesse plays the Nykthos only to have it immediately Ghost Quartered, he's not going to be able to get much value out of it. Or actually, I might have missed something. It seems the Nykthos is in Jesse's graveyard. Oh, he just discarded it to Liliana. Looks like he doesn't even need the Nykthos. So attacking the Liliana, keeping it nice and low, casting an Eternal Witness. So he's going to be able to get back that Nisa. He's going to be able to cast next turn. He's going to be able to really put down some hurting. The new Nisa Vital Force, being able to turn any of your lands into a 5/5 creature until end of turn. Or, sorry, until the start of your next turn. There she is. So yeah, there it is. Untap target land you control until your next turn. It's a 5/5 elemental creature with haste. It's still land. And then, of course, you take her up once and use that ability, and then the next turn you can get her emblem, which is whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. It's going to help Jesse draw into all of his win cons. But in the meantime, just having a 5/5 he can attack or block with is going to be huge. Dan playing a Tarmogoyf. Looks like it's a 5/6 right now. That is going to be a scary beast. Oh, just a 4/5. So if Nisa hits play and makes his land into a 5/5, Jesse's actually going to have a bigger creature right now. But Dan might be able to change that. You know, he -2, if he makes his Liliana -2, Liliana is going to go in the river. Oh, he's already got a Planeswalker. Let's see, we've got land, sorcery, creature, Planeswalker. It seems actually instant is being missed, as well as enchantment. Alright, and Dan's starting to attack with the Tarmogoyf. Looks like Jesse's just going to take it. He's hoping to top deck something good, something that's going to get him out of this position. Of course, he's got a lot of mana, but he needs something to do with it right now. And Dan flashing back the Lingering Souls in his graveyard. Jesse's just in a fine position if he can draw something effective. Looks like he was just counting out his mana there. Looks like he make, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana? That's enough to cast anything in his deck, really. Of course, his high end is Crater Hoof Behemoth, and he can cast Genesis Wave for large amounts. And Dan just trying to pressure Jesse as much as he possibly can. Jesse probably not looking to block anytime soon. I might be mistaken though. Looks like he only needs 7 mana apparently. Just save himself 4 life right now. Going down to 12. That's at least 3 mana. Looks like he's making 6 mana. This might be a Garrick Wildspeaker, could be a new Nisa, a Primal Command. This is one of Jesse's favorite spells in the deck. What he loves to do is just put an opponent's land on top of his graveyard and search for a creature. The creature he will be searching for is Eternal Witness. Let me just get Primal Command up on the screen right here. It's one of the command that has variable modes. And so there's 4 different options and he gets to choose 2 at any time. Just having a bit of difficulty with the keyboard here. There we go. So, he can gain 7 life, he can put a non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library, he can make someone shuffle their graveyard into their library, or he can search his own library for a creature, reveal and put it into his hand. And so he got an Eternal Witness, I assume. He's going to be casting the Eternal Witness next turn in order to get the Primal Command back, be able to cast the Primal Command and put that land back on top of Dan. Essentially just making sure that Dan is never actually drawing a live card that he can play, and getting Jesse just a few extra 2/1s while still getting his own draw steps. It's going to put him steadily ahead. He's going to need another mana if he wants to be able to both cast the Eternal Witness and then the Primal Command from his graveyard. Looks like he's starting off by just casting the Eternal Witness, not floating any mana right now. That being said, the Arbor Elf is still untapped. It can make him 3 mana. He's got that Forest, so he has access to 4 mana right now. Primal Command costing 5. He's gonna need something else. Looks like he drew another Eternal Witness. And just shipping it back. Oh, he also had an Arbor Elf, so that Arbor Elf is going to be able to make him a lot of mana. He's going to be able to do a lot of work. Jesse probably just going to go to 8 off of this attack. Probably going to chump out the Goyf like he has so far each turn. And there we have it. It looks like Dan actually had a bit of a blank draw, just a Shambling Men's, not drawing any more active cards and just relying on these Spirits and the Tarmogoyf to really try to get Jesse's life total down. This turn, Jesse has access to so much mana. He has access to 10 mana. Of course, his 1 Force being able to make 3 mana each time he taps it, and the Arbor Elves being able to untap it 1 time each. There we have a Garrick. Garrick is essentially free since his 2 lands combined make 4 mana. So he's got 3 6 mana. Probably just casting the Primal Command now. Going to be putting one of Dan's oh so precious lands back on top. And I believe he still has an Eternal Witness in his library. And there we have it. Jesse's still floating 1 mana, and with the one Arbor Elf still untapped, he's going to be able to go up to 4 or 5 mana right now. So now he has... Yeah, he still has a mana floating, and he's got all of those Eternal Witnesses in play. And really, just making sure he has an abundance of creatures in play means that Dan's going to have to send one of those Spirits into Garrick. Garrick Wildspeaker, of course, having a -4 of overrunning your entire board. It's going to give them all +3/+3 in trample. Those Arbor Elves are suddenly going to become potent attackers. And also, if Jesse just top stacks Critter Hoop Behemoth right now, he might be able to end the game in just 1 swing. Such an explosive deck. And Dan, of course, not drawing anything relevant. His hand's going to be the same as it has been for the past 5-6 turns. He's just going to be drawing that a Blooming Marsh. I assume Jesse would put the Shambling Ments on top. Alright, looks like Dan's been holding on to an Abrupt Decay this whole time. Using it now for the surprise factor, just getting Jesse down one more blocker, and of course making that Garrick ult much less effective right now. Looks like Dan's not quite starting his turn yet. And a path. Just wants to take out all of Jesse's blockers, of course having tapped down both of his mana dorks. So this means that Tarmogoyf is just going to be able to straight up take out Garrick. Or Dan could go... actually, he could activate his Shambling Ments and just attack for lethal here. I wonder if Jesse sees this yet. Probably just waiting for Dan to go through the motions. And there we have it. So a very tight game, just a bit of missequencing from Jesse, maybe choosing the wrong land to put back on top of Dan's library. Alright, so Dan the man is going to be up one game. And we're doing some sideboarding. There we go. For any of you viewers wondering why my usual co-host Ryan is not here today, he is in Providence playing in the Grand Prix. He's got some standard matches to play. I believe that starts tomorrow morning. And so he will not be here this weekend. I believe we'll have someone in here in the booth with me. At the very least, we're going to be having some of our players doing deck techs. Down here, and it's going to be exciting tomorrow. But Ryan will be back on Wednesday. We'll have the regular dynamic going, maybe a bit more exciting commentary. I know I sometimes get distracted. I have to look around at my surroundings. There's a few more things I have to be aware of being in charge of running the tournament. Alright, so Jesse ready and presented. Dan thinking over a couple of sideboard choices maybe. So from Dan, we can probably expect some more mass removal, maybe a Maelstrom Pulse, maybe some engineered explosives. Sorry, not very good at remembering names today. But certainly, oh, it looks like he's got a Quasali Pride Mage. Looks like he might be taking out his Slaughter Pact. Doesn't think that's the most effective in this matchup. I believe Jesse has access to Obstinate Baloth in this matchup. Very good against Liliana's +1. It's saying when an opponent's ability would force you to discard Obstinate Baloth, you may instead just put it onto the battlefield and just have a free 4/4 that gains you 4 life. Of course, it would have been very effective in that last game, generating Jesse the race advantage, so he wouldn't have to worry about chum blocking until he could block with the massive creatures and be able to straight out kill the Tarmogoyf. We'll see if Jesse might be able to get off to a better start, maybe keep a win con in his hand pretty early. Of course, Dan's early thoughts, he's taking out that Nisa, was actually really tough on Jesse. Jesse never really got a mass going. His deck tends to just make a lot of mana and do something really good with it, and that lets him do something good the next turn too. Whether it's casting Primal Command and finding a good creature, or it's getting a Planeswalker down and making sure that its activation next turn is going to be relevant. Jesse just wants to get a lot of good things going at once, and he wants to get them going very early. And Dan really able to just stymie him down, slow him down. So looks like Jesse's got a bunch of lands in his opening hand, an Eternal Witness, maybe some other things. Dan with a Damnation in his hand, I believe. That's going to be exciting. Jesse, of course, a common part of his deck is just putting a lot of creatures in play, might easily overextend into that Damnation. Alright, Dan fetching, probably going to find a shock land, might be Lobaxing himself, might be going straight for the Thoughtseize. And so he is. Dan going all the way down to 15 in turn 1, just off of his own cards. And Jesse, we see, kept a hand with 2 Eternal Witnesses, a Dismember, and another land. We'll see what Dan chooses to take. If he takes the Dismember, one of the Eternals is going to be able to get it back. If he takes that Eternal Witness, the other one will be able to get it back. Really no great options here. Especially since Jesse's just going to be at 3 mana on his next turn. He has nothing better to do but to cast an Eternal Witness. And that is most definitely a Damnation on Dan's side. Looks like Dan taking out the Dismember. And there we have it, the Eternal Witness getting back the Dismember. Jesse not playing the fetch land this turn. He wants to keep a lot of lands in his deck. I guess wanting to rely on on land mana, and not so much on the enchantments and the creature mana. Those, of course, being able to be destroyed. And so not extending too far. We thought he might extend pretty early, but looks like he's taking his time. Dan, another Thoughtseize, going to be able to take out the other Eternal Witness, and unless Jesse has drawn a third one. Oh, Dan, staring at almost the exact same hand, but -1 land. It is not a good spot for Dan as far as the Thoughtseize is concerned. That being said, Jesse, without a real way to win the game in his hand, you know, he can play a couple 2-1s, but beyond that, he doesn't have any more in his hand. He's going to have to draw something effective that he can use his mana with. This turn, he's going to have access to 4 mana. He could just attack for 3 and then cast another Eternal Witness, get that Dismember back, but he'd probably rather use the mana from the Arbor Elf. And the fact that he's not attacking with it does lead us to believe that he has drawn something of either an Oath of Nisa, so you can use that 4th mana, 3 mana on the Eternal Witness, 1 mana on the Oath, or a Garruk Wildspeaker, even a Pelurkanos. I don't know if he takes those out in this matchup. And there we have it, drawing the Dismember with the Eternal Witness, number 2 of 3. Might just be leaving up a mana in order to cast the Dismember. Doesn't want Dan to pass the turn back to Jesse with a 2-drop in play. Dan, of course, just having land and sorcery in his graveyard. Jesse's graveyard is empty. Dismember would be able to kill a Tarmogoyf. By the time Dismember's resolved, it actually is in the graveyard before you check Tarmogoyf's power and toughness to see whether or not it's dead. But that would just make it a 3/4, well within range to be killed by Dismember. Dan would probably love to see a Lingering Souls right here. A 3rd land and a Lingering Souls, I believe, is what he would like to see. Just be able to take out those Eternal Witnesses, make sure they can't attack anymore. That being said, he might be stalled on lands. Oh no, there we have it. Playing, I believe that's a Verdant Catacomb. And with that Damnation in his hand, maybe wanting Jesse to overextend a bit more before he actually before he dedicates anything else to the board. That being said, those Eternal Witnesses, if the Arbor Elf joins in on the attack, can actually half Dan's life total right now. And with that Verdant Catacomb still in play, he's going to be within quick reach of just a few attacks. Alright, so Jesse did opt to attack with all 3 of the creatures, bringing Dan to 5 life. He's gonna play the Eternal Witness, get his 4th land back from the graveyard, that Windswept Heath. And things are not looking that good for Dan unless he can draw land right now. Or if he has one in hand. We know he has the Damnation. As long as he can cast that Damnation, he can survive another turn. And of course, already having 2 black sources in play, doesn't matter what land he draws as long as it's not a fast land. Fast land would come in tapped right now, or if it's a man land, that would also come in tapped. And looks like he drew an Inquisition. He did have a Swamp already in his hand. Just gonna throw down that Damnation as fast as he possibly can. Wants those creatures out of there. So Jesse gonna start things back up with an Oath of Nisa. Hopefully he draws something. Looks like he's got a Courser as a choice there. Wouldn't be a bad way to use that 3 mana he's got right now. Definitely would help him draw into something more relevant. And of course, it having a very good body can block a Grimflayer, make sure that Dan doesn't get the trigger. Yeah, looks like he's just going to get the Courser straight into play. There it is. And I believe that is a Genesis Wave on top of his library. Genesis Wave not going to be able to do much with the mana he has right now. There we see it. Cost green, 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 X. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanents with CMC X or less from among them onto the battlefield. So of course getting you your creatures, your enchantments, your lands, even the planeswalkers off the top of your library. But usually he aims to be casting Genesis Wave for at least 4 or 5, I believe. That way he can get his Nisas, he can get his Garrix. The only thing that he doesn't get are the other copies of Genesis Wave as well as Primal Command, and he wouldn't get his Crater Hoof Behemoths. Jesse's showing his hand. Looks like he's got a Pithing Needle. Dan, choosing between Dismember and Pithing Needle, chooses the Dismember again. This is the third time that Jesse's discarded that card this match. And Dan casting a Scavenging Ooze as well. Looks like he's got 2 green mana available. He's got the Filter Land. So he's going to be able to exile 2 things from Jesse's graveyard. This is, of course, severely reducing the effectiveness of Eternal Witness. Although he only has 1 left in his library. Drawing the Genesis Wave and revealing a Thragtusk off the top. Probably wishing that he had some more mana that he could make, or that Courser was revealing lands so that he'd be able to cast the Gen Wave for a scary amount. Looks like he's casting Pithing Needle. I assume he's going to be naming Scavenging Ooze. Before the Pithing Needle actually resolves, Dan is going to exile the couple Eternal Witnesses, try to gain a couple life, put a couple counters on that Scooze. Make it bigger than the Courser. And it seems that, yes, he has named Scavenging Ooze on the Pithing Needle. And moving his lands around, looks like he's carefully thinking about what he wants to do this turn. He's going to have to exile the Courser. That's going to really slow Jesse down. Jesse's been waiting for some lands, and none of them have been on top of his library. I mean, he is going to get the 5th land. That being said, he's not going to be drawing the Thragtusk, which does cost 5. He's got to be hoping that he draws a relevant 4 or 5 drop right now, even if it's just a Primal Command. Oh, and there's an Inoffense of the Foremost. Just going to be able to attack so strong from Dan's side. Growing the Scavenging Ooze by 1 each time, too. Looks like Jesse's really fallen behind. That Damnation being a really big blow to Jesse. Of course, he's got a Genesis Wave. Looks like he drew a Kessig Wolfrun for the turn. He's going to have 6 mana. He could Genesis Wave for 3. I'm not sure what he could really hit off of it. I think there's another Courser in his deck. I believe he runs 2 copies of it. Other than that, though, it's just going to be able to hit Mana Dorks and maybe the 1 Eternal Witness that's left. Oh, he's got a Primal Command. We'll see what he chooses to do with it. He might just be gaining 7 life and searching his library for a creature. And it seems that we've got a confirmation. He's going to be going up to 21 and searching for any creature in his library. Finding the Eternal Witness. So he just wants to get that Primal Command back. Probably just hoping that he can draw a Nykthos. Once the Eternal Witness is in play, the Nykthos is gonna make some mana. Actually, it's not even gonna be a profit. He'd have to tap 3 lands, and it would only make 3 mana. Jesse may be running out of options now. Dan, oh, Maelstrom pulsing the Pithy Needle and leaving green mana up. That means that the Eternal Witness is not going to be able to get anything back for Jesse. Really unfortunate for Jesse. And then attacking for, what would that be? 5 and 4, 9 damage? Oh, it got Jesse all the way back down to 12. Looks like Jesse drew Utopia Sprawl. Playing that on one of his forests, making it being able to generate an extra mana. Casting the Eternal Witness. Now, of course, he has to choose his target when the trigger goes on the stack. Dan is going to be able to, in response, exile his target. And there we have it right there. Jesse running out of options in this game. So if Jesse doesn't block this turn, he's going to be taking aim for 12 damage lethal. Dan has lethal damage plus that Shambling Vents, actually. Jesse Ostap's going to be forced to block, whether it's the Anafens or the Scavenging Ooze. Probably the Scavenging Ooze, it being a bit bigger. But certainly not a good position for Jesse to be in right now. We'll probably also see the +1/+1 counter from Anafenza going on to the Shambling Vents, being able to gain Dan just a bit more life. And there we see it. Of course, the Eternal Witness goes in front of the biggest thing, blocking the Scavenging Ooze, but Jesse's still taking 7. He's going to go all the way down to 5. It is not going to be easy to come back in this game. That being said, right now he could Genesis Wave for 4. If he drew a land, he could do it for 5. I think it's his only hope. And there we see it. So he's going to be casting it for 4. Looks like he just hit a couple lands. He's going to concede. Dan the Man takes the match in 2, claiming the name of Abzan. Yeah. So that's going to be it for Modern today. The last 2 rounds we're going to be doing Standard. We're going to try to showcase some cool decks that are going to be they're going to be at game day tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Dan and Jesse, really good friends. I'm sure they're probably discussing the game right now, talking about a couple of the plays, thinking about some of the decisions they made. Especially Jesse with the discards he made to Liliana in game 1, maybe rethinking about how that game could have gone. So yeah, I'm gonna head upstairs and see if we can get some Standard going for you guys soon. I will be back in just a couple minutes. Thanks for hanging tight.